Hey guys, this is another video for my friend Dave and probably my friend Margot. If you use wingers, one of the problems I've had in the past also is your electronics plugs break. They're kind of cheap, and originally they're like $14 for a harness. And so I started making my own, and I was using the 1/8" single channel speaker plugs, which is what they are. And I'd buy these kits and you solder the wires on right here and put them back together. The problem is those also don't really hold up that well because equipment gets abused when you're out training. So my next solution was to buy these, it's a prefab harness with plugs on both ends, and you got a little over 4 feet of wire. So what I do, and I think it's $6 for one of these. So what I do is I cut them in half. So I got a little over 2 feet. Then I'm going to add a wire on my harness so that I can feed it in through the winger. And it's actually really simple to do. I just got to solder 2 wires on here. So first you got to strip this outer casing out. What makes these plugs a lot better is this is all like molded, and it's very durable. I get about 3 years out of one of these harnesses as opposed to maybe 1 season. So you got to be careful. There's an inner wire and an inner shield, which we're going to use as our conductors. And you're going to take a pretty sharp X-Acto knife and you're just going to kind of roll it around the wire. And you're going to fold it. You'll see where that cut is, and then you're going to just scar it enough to crack all the way through that outer insulation. And you're going to pull it off. Like that. And what you end up with is an inner wire. It's probably about a 30 gauge wire, I'm not sure, and an inner shield. And you're going to twist the inner shield into a wire. This is your negative on this plug, which is the outer part right here. And you have your inner wire. Now, if you have wire strippers, it probably won't strip that red wire, because like I said, unless you have electronic strippers. So all you got to do is scar it with the X-Acto knife and pull that out. And it's really thin. I might want a little bit longer than that. Okay, so I got about 3/4 of an inch of conductor on that. Then I typically add about 3 feet of wire. And again, I'm using that silicone wire that I was using on the servos. All I gotta do is solder them on. So I'm gonna do kind of like a lineman splice. It's not an official lineman splice, but so the red wire is gonna go to the red. You're just gonna take it and pinch it together. Twist so the wires kind of interlock with each other like that. Oops. Like I've had too much coffee today. Alright, now we're going to put a little bit of flux on here. Just enough to get the solder to draw into the wire. So basically I've got a good splice right there. And I'm going to take the shield wire. I'm going to do the same thing. Alright, so that's all of the soldering that you got to do. And now you can, you could use electrical tape if you wanted, because you're going to have to insulate the hot wire from the ground. What I like to do is I use marine grade heat shrink. You can buy the little kits from Amazon for like $10. They got various sizes, but marine grade has a adhesive on the inside of it, and it kind of makes it'll kind of strengthen this whole thing. And we really only need to do 2 heat shrinks. One is going to go on our hot wire, and so basically when I shrink it down, it's going to glue onto that wire, and then I'm going to slide another one over, and it's going to attach to this onto these 2 parts, so from the insulation over to the wire and the other insulation. If you're wondering why don't I put one on the ground wire, it's because there's a limited amount of space to get the harness into the winger, and I want to keep it as small as possible. So you could probably use a lighter if you want or whatever, but I prefer a heat gun. And so I shrank that one down on there, and it's glued on. Then you're going to slide this right over both of those 2. And you can kind of see the red sticking out. That's alright. All I'm trying to do is glue the wires to the insulation. You don't want to overheat it because it'll melt the insulation. So when you're done, this is kind of what you got right here. This is all glued. I don't know if you can see it. The glue actually comes out of the ends as you shrink it down. Once it gets hard, it's actually a pretty durable harness. It's not going to pull apart or anything like that. And when you feed it in, of course, you're probably going to just cut off the end of the old one, tape this new one to the old one, and pull it down through the bottom of the winger, and then put your termination ends on these wires. But I promise you, this is way stronger than the harnesses that you get from Zinger Winger. So I hope this helps you, Dave and Margot. Later.